So what would the measure of,
XB.
yeah,
Um,
what would measure of angle X be?
95.
Yes. Okay. All right. So not too bad, right? You just subtract. And in some ways, this is the level of algebra that they expect you to know in geometry. It's not like advanced algebra. It's not meant to be super complicated. Now this one here, this square here, you probably already know this, but this square here means 90 degrees.
Yeah.
So in this problem, x plus 32 equals 90 degrees. And you can solve for the missing angle.
$58.
X is 58. All right, good. So they do get more difficult. That's just kind of like a starter question here. No, this one isn't very useful. So actually, let's go back to definitions here. All right, so if the angle measures are complementary, okay, if they're complementary, that means they add to 90. Could you give me the other angle measures here?
45.
Okay.
8. 68. No, 60. 67.
7, good. And then we can also do the same thing here with supplementary.
Where they equal 180.
Yes, supplementary means they add up to 180.
All right, 6 would be 7. And then 7 would be 105. Eight would be 88.
Okay. Good. Now you might wonder or might be asking, well, what happens if the angle measures is more than 180 degrees? And it's all about perspective. So like if you come from this direction, you go more than 180 degrees, you can actually get there another way. You can say, well, what if you just went backwards to get there? So there actually is no angle that is more than 180 degrees that can't be represented by an angle that's less than 180 degrees.
Yeah.
So in short, you really only need to worry about angles being between 0 to 180.
I see.
All right. So you want to find a better thing here. I was looking for something with just a tiny bit more algebra in it, which I'm not getting yet. All right. So here we go. Here is a problem, and this is a key distinction between kind of in geometry. There's 2 types of questions you get asked. The first is where they give you a picture, like I've been doing, and then when they give you some words. This one is words, okay? And you have to infer from the information in the problem, like what it is. Okay.
Okay.
So if the measure of angle A and the measure of angle B, if they are complementary, that means they add up to
180.
complementary is
Oh,
the
90.
other one, 90. So you're writing an equation, 3x minus 8 plus 5x plus 10 equals 90.
What's the measure of each angle?
Yes.
So
So
would I
this
solve this now?
yes, this is
Okay,
like
so
a more
add
advanced
8.
problem. Yeah. Well, you can combine like terms on the left. This is just me
Okay,
sort of
so
throwing one out to see how you're
+2.
doing. Yeah, why don't you see how far you can get on this?
Okay. X equals 11.
Okay. And how confident are you in your answer?
Pretty confident.
Yeah, so when you combine like terms, you get 3x plus 5x plus 10, subtract 2, 8x equals 88. Divide by 8, so x equals
11.
11. Now, this is one of those things in geometry that gets a lot of students. So if this were a multiple choice test, A would be 11. But A is not what it's asking for. It's asking for the measure of each angle. What does that mean?
It wants
Does it want X or does it want something different?
something else.
Yes, it wants you to actually put 11 back into each of the equations.
Like replace it for X.
Yes, like put X back in here and put X back in here for both of them.
Okay, I got them. One is 25 and the other is 65.
All right. So that would be like if this it typically would ask you for one or the other. And this one's just asking for both. So notice when you put it in, you get like 65 for B. This is
Yeah.
the measure of angle B. You don't have to find, you don't have to put it in the equation. You can actually just subtract it from 90.
Right. Okay.
So there's a lot of options here. All right. Let's look at another one here. All right, so let me give you one to try here on your own.
Supplementary is 180.
Exactly.
All right, I got them. 65 and 115.
So good news is those add up to 180s. That's a good start for sure in terms of like, well, is it correct or not? You've also done well because you didn't just give me the value of X,
Yeah,
168. So what did you get for a value of X?
14.
14. Okay. All right. And then you just put those back in, you get your answer and onwards and forwards. Good. Let me see if there's any other types of questions here. All right. Okay. That's not helpful. So let's find another one here. What do you know about geometry? I mean, have you heard anything from friends have taken the class or
Oh, about
anyone
like the
else?
actual class?
Yeah, like what to expect when you get in there.
A lot of people, and even my math teacher said that Algebra 1 is harder than geometry. That's like the only thing that I don't know. That I haven't really heard anything about it.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Yeah, it's very different than what you've been doing. So it's in some ways it could be easier. In some ways it could be harder because it's just very, very different. All right. So here is so here's a new problem here. This is kind of going back to to the parallel line stuff. So these two angles are called same side interior.
Right.
And same side interior angles are supplementary. They're always supplementary. So that means that these two things add up to 180.
180. Okay.
So I'd like you to write and solve the equation and give me each angle measure again, please.
Wait, but what do I do about the X's? Because they don't hold any like.
They're part of it. They're part of it. Like this is part of the angle. This is part of the angle. So these two things add up to
180.
180. Yes.
Mhm. And what if they go over?
That's okay. Remember, you're just solving for X. X is not the angle. X is just a number that you're using to find the angle.
Negative. Well, I get negative 12.
Okay. And again, that's fine. That's not the angle. You got to find the angles. You got to put that back into the equation.
I got 63 and 105. But
Those
don't
add up.
equal
Those
180.
don't add up. Yeah, so try again here. So maybe you didn't solve it right. Maybe this isn't the right X value. My guess is this is not the right X value. Go ahead and look at that one more time. You need some help you're solving for X.
Yeah.
Okay. So 2x plus 182 equals 180. And so you have to add the X's, add the numbers. Is that okay? Is that clear?
Yeah, but doesn't 75 plus 117 equal 192?
192. Yes. Yes. Okay. So
Okay.
now you're yeah, good catch on that. Now when you subtract 192, you do get 12, negative 12, but you have not solved for X.
Yeah, I wouldn't know when to. I just didn't have the 2x there. I had
Yeah.
regular x's, so I get
So
it now.
X is -6. What would the value of each angles be?
All right, now I can do it. Negative. Uh, 69 and 111.
And does 69 plus 111 add up to 180?
Yes.
Yes, it does. Okay. Now 18. I'm sorry, I got grabbing another problem. So notice that the same side interior, this time, the first problem I gave you, it's on the right. They can also be on the left. So your same side interior can also be on the left. The same side interior are always supplementary. So that means these two angles add up to 180 degrees. This time I'd like you to just solve for X, please.
All for x.
Yes, just solve for X. And using the fact that there's the same side interior, they add up to 180.
Does it all go on one side and then the 180 on the other?
Yes, exactly.
Oh, I think I got it. Hold on. 97. Okay, wait, solve for,
Just X.
is it 5? I think I got it.
Okay, you're saying X is 5. So here's how I check. I'm gonna put that back in for X. So 15 times 5 is 75 plus 8 is 93. I'm sorry, is 83. Is 83 plus 97 equal to 180? Yes, it is.
Yeah,
Okay. Let's do one more. Then we'll maybe switch to another topic here. Okay. So I want you to solve for X.
wait, what's the trick again to see if it equals 180 or 90?
These are all the 3 problems we've done, including this new one. They're all same side interior.
Okay, so 180.
Same side interior. They add up to 180.
X equals 6.
X equals 6.
Yeah.
All right, so that means 18 times 6 plus 2. 18 times 6 is 108 plus 2 is 110. That does work. Good. All right. Well done on that. So let's go back to doing some SAT prep stuff. We might have covered this already. I'm not sure. So one of the classes, the first class I teach, we always talk about a test taking strategy. So the very first thing that I always tell students is to read the call to action first. And you might be wondering, well, what is a call to action? Well, we actually need to start with like, what is the actual structure of an SAT ACT question? And don't remember if you've taken the SAT ACT. I believe you take it. I'm sure you're going to take it next year. So there's kind of 3 things. I call it a prompt, a call to action, and then the answer space. So here's an example of a question. So the prompt is this thing at the top here, which could be an equation. It could be a table, could be a graph, could be nothing, could be words. The call to action is like the actual thing that you're supposed to read to know what to do. It tells you, calls you to action.
It tells you what's happening.
Yeah, it's like, what do you want me to do? And in the answer space, it's either multiple choice or free response. Okay, most of the questions we'll look at will be multiple choice. But when I say to read the call to action first, it's something you have to train yourself to do. Just like when you do anything in sports or athletics, when you train yourself to do something, it means that you're kind of like not used to, it's going to feel different. So when I look at a question, I don't look at anything except the call to action. I go right to the call to action because it tells me whether I need to next look at the answers or go back and read the prompt or look at the prompt. Okay. And it's this very simple thing, but it's something you have to practice. You say, okay, So here's a new question. The call to action starts right here. It says, how many solutions does the system have? Up here is the prompt. It's kind of the preamble or the information that's important. And then we've got some answers down here. But you really want to start with how many solutions does the system have? And then you decide what you need to go and look for. All right.
Right.
And we're gonna see that. We're gonna see that in some problems here, that if you read the call to action first, you have a much better chance of getting the problem correctly. So when you look at a problem like this one, there's a more of a classic test question you might see. If you first go here and read the call to action, which of the following is the best interpretation of the number 1.22 in this context? It kind of helps you to figure out, like, well, I don't actually need to know about that 0.04. You also might be drawn to something in one of the answers. It's a way to sort of get your brain thinking about what it is that you're actually needing for these questions. So where does the call to action appear? It is almost always the last sentence of the prompt. So it's almost always the last sentence. Yeah, this is the last sentence, it's the only sentence. It will be almost always the last sentence. And then that tells you whether you actually need to read prompt from the beginning, because
Yeah.
sometimes you may actually not need to and could just answer the question. In fact, when we look at test taking strategy number 2, you actually don't read the prompt. You just look at the answers. So if you do go to read the prompt, you want to read the call to action again. You say, okay, which of the following is the best interpretation of the number 1.22? You go back and read from the beginning, and then you read the call to action again. It's a way to get your brain kind of thinking about
All
what's
wrapped
going
on it.
on. Yeah. Now, the strategy, it's just like anything else. It only works in some situations, doesn't work in all. Tends to work best for story word problems, things where there's a thick, lots of words. It's better to go right to what it's actually asking for. Right, so we're going to take a look at a sample problem here. And we're going to take a look at the last sentence. What is M when L is 73? And then you'd say, okay, well, there's an equation. Maybe I can use that. You don't need to read any of this.
Yeah.
In fact, if you do, it's a waste of time. What is M when L is 73? So they're giving you L. They're asking you to solve for M. Now there is no credit, partial credit here. You either get the right answer or not. So I don't really have a preference for how you solve this, but I'd like you to tell me whether the answer is A, B, C, or D, and you can work it out however you want from here.
M is 14.
Okay, and how confident are you in your answer?
Confident.
Okay, very good. All right, so let's look at the next problem here. And again, we want to try really hard to use this strategy. Okay, these problems are specifically selected to emphasize this strategy. What is P in terms of T? Oh, there's an equation again.
Oh, all right.
Solve for P. Okay, solve for P. Now you may not know how to do that, but you at least say, okay, I don't need to read all this other stuff. I don't care that a coat originally priced at $P is on sale for $T. All of that is distracting. You don't want to be distracted by the information. So what is the math operation to solve for P? How do you undo this 0.8?
You would, I mean, yeah, you
Yeah,
would divide.
okay, so which answers have division in them?
Well, that takes out two of them, so C and D.
Right. So you have to decide if it's C or D. I mean, we can, that the point is though, is you've done enough to where you can get it down to two answers pretty good.
Yeah,
So what do you think? Is it C or D? Does the number go on the top or the bottom?
C, because, well, uh,
You're dividing both sides by 0.8. It's okay to write some things down. They're not
D,
grading it. Yeah, it ends up being
yeah,
P
the
equals
bottom.
T over
Yeah.
0.8. Now, if I were writing this question, I would have handled it differently. I would have actually made the answers look like this to make it more deceptive. We'll keep it the right answer, but it would have been 5 over 4t, 4 over 5t,
Oh, I get it.
4 over 5t, 5 over 4t. But I don't write the questions, so but you are correct. So very important to have an eye out for certain things. You can generally eliminate two answers pretty quickly. All right. So first problem I'm gonna put in front of you. I would like you to try the strategy. Try very hard to read the call to action first. There's no multiple choice. You just have to work it out on your own by hand.
What is the volume in the cubics? Okay.
What is the answer?
Wait, volume is length times width times height, right?
That's right.
Okay.
Now, if you didn't know that, that's where you'd go back and start reading.
Yeah,
Because guess what it tells you in the second sentence?
the volume V of a rectangular prism is length times. Oh, I see. Right.
They have to give you the information you need to solve the problem.
Um, 36 centimeters cubed.
So 36
Or
is the correct answer. Good. All right. So this next problem I'm going to have you do, you could read the call to action first, go back and read the prompt until you get the information that you need.
okay. C.
Okay, the total amount in dollars Salem will pay for one ticket. So 12 is it's a thing. So here's what C refers to. C is when n equals 1. When n equals 1, what's the value of t? Maybe you're not following here. So 15 times 1 plus 12 is 27.
Oh, it'd be 27. Okay, I was trying to think how, yeah.
So
What's the
is that
correlation?
true?
No,
Is
I
that
get it.
what the 12, is that what the 12 represents? And maybe this is a
No,
little unfair.
wait, I thought that the 12 was the total amount.
No, it's 12 is added to 15n.
Oh, so, so what is 12 really then? It's just
So you probably haven't had much experience in this in the world, but there a lot of places charge a fixed plus a variable cost. Like if you go sign up for a gym, sometimes they make you just pay a one-time fee, but then every month it's a certain amount. And that's what's represented here by the 12. It's the one-time amount that you pay.
I see.
Okay. Try one more here. Notice that these are a lot of like story word problems. That is a style that you see on the test. So go ahead and take a look at this one, read the call to action first, and then see if you can come up with the correct answer.
Nine percent. Wait, no, that's even, oh, I was gonna say less. Wait, who gave a rating of 5%? Okay, and then, oh, okay, so yeah, 9%.
Really interesting. So this is like I've given this problem out, well, and every time students give that as that as the answer. That is not the correct answer.
Really?
How did you come up with 9? I mean, I just want to know because I'm still trying to figure this out. Why this? I mean, that someone wrote this and knew that every student would choose 9%.
I chose 9% because which of the following is closest to the percentage of participants who give a rating of 5? And
Yes.
then
So how
I,
many gave a rating of 5?
2 out of the 11.
That's right. So so tell me, how does that become
Okay, let me,
9%? Did you use a calculator?
no, that was just
It's
oh,
so odd.
it's
It is so
18.
odd. It is 18, yeah. So the way I show students, because I don't think this is a calculator problem, is if you multiply by 9, you get to basically 100. So it's really close to
8.
18%. But I'm not, there's no criticism of you. It's just like,
Yeah,
I have no idea. I don't understand. I mean,
I
I've
get it.
looked at this problem over and over again. I still don't have any idea. Okay, here's another question for us to look at. You definitely want to read the call to action first. You want to look right here because it tells you what to do next. It tells you whether you have a lot of work to do or not a lot of work to do. It might just ask you for the high temperature on Monday. It
Yeah,
does
what was
not,
the
but
mean low temperature in degrees Fahrenheit during the 5-day period?
that's right. So here we go. You're looking at the low. You've got to find the average of those numbers.
48.8.
It is really good. Okay, so in summary here today to close out, reading the call to action first is super, super important.
Yeah.
It actually leads to the next test taking strategy, which I'll snip in here. Which is which of the following. We're going to look at that at some point soon. So, all right, good job. Hey, you did
Hey,
more math than most kids do the entire